So that wasn't me, by the way, in the parachute, but essentially you can reserve from upwards now into the reservation. So the immediacy factor. ASDA, Asda, a supermarket chain in the UK, the same scenario. Looking at mobile, looking at how consumers were using their mobile devices and reinventing themselves. Understanding that they no longer want to walk into the store itself, they want to order it on the way home. They want to make sure their food meets them at their destination. Again, using the power and the technology of mobile to make that happen. How many of you guys have walked into a store, looked at the product in the store, and then gone home and bought it afterwards? Probably quite a few. If you haven't already done it, I'm sure you're going to do it in the future. And this is the challenge for these big retailers now, right? Digital is competitive, and they need to make sure they're reinventing themselves and providing the consumer with something else. So inside the store, they've got to make sure that their price points match what's happening on digital. There's a brand in the UK called John Lewis that does this very well. Ensures that what you buy online is always going to be never knowingly undersold, never going to get a better price elsewhere. And in the store, they've reinvented themselves because they've ensured that their staff are very well known on the technology that you're buying or the products that you're buying. They're providing better consumer services. And so brands are having to do this to ensure that they're present on mobile. Not only that, but we're seeing some really interesting things happening on search. We're seeing that when you're looking at this particular example here, which is for a jeans retailer, but it could be a guy selling a car or a handset or whatever it is, the way that you communicate on the desktop is vastly different to the way that you may communicate on a mobile device. In this instance, we've got an advertiser that's probably upselling the colors, the textiles, the intricacies of buying a specific pair of jeans to drive into the online boutique. But the mobile version of that is going to do something completely different. It's going to try and drive the guy to the nearest store to buy its pair of jeans at the nearest location. So again, embracing the technology that sits on phones. Starwood, again, another travel example, but a very relevant one, reinventing itself, using the power of hyperlocal. So hyperlocal, for those who don't know, is a format where essentially you're able to make a search and then you'll find the most relevant search, the nearest store or the nearest destination to your location. A little map will pop down and you'll be able to get directions to go there. So Starwood doing a great job of making that happen. But it's not all just about sort of performance-based advertising. We're seeing a really great uptime in brand awareness as well. So advertisers that are using mobile display for branding and mobile search for that matter. But we did a study recently with Nielsen and Volvo, and we looked at the influence or the impact of mobile on its own against other media, and it overperformed, it overweighted, it overperformed in that specific area. But then we looked at the performance of adding media together. So if they were working in unison, mobile, desktop, and TV working together, we found that the performance of this campaign was, there was a 48% uplift in brand recall. And so I've got a great example for you to show you now, which is called Project Rebrief. This is something that Google, this is really new, really fresh, never been seen before. So you guys are an exclusive in Hungary for this, right? Project Rebrief, we took some brands who were very well established in the 1970s, and we took their old ad campaigns and we said, right, we're going to reinvent these ad campaigns and we're going to make them new. We're going to make them come in our year. Let's roll the video, let's see what Project Rebrief is doing on mobile for Coca-Cola.
Oh, yeah. You ready?
Goodbye, Detroit. Goodbye, Big Tire. Hello, Big Apple.
This is when presenting becomes a challenge, because that wasn't quite the right video I wanted to show you. We're going to try again. We're going to test the guys in the back. If we can click back onto the YouTube channel, and we can scroll up on the page, the video should sit at the bottom. So let's go back. We're going to try and make this work. If it doesn't work, I can tell you about my mother-in-law, or my mum, or my sister, or something like that, right? Okay, let's click on the word mobile. We're nearly there. Yep, fantastic. And let's click play. You saw that happen in live. It's worth it, guys.
In Project Rebrief, we've reimagined Coca-Cola's classic Hilltop commercial for a modern audience in the digital age. In the spirit of the original ad, it allows users to connect with strangers by sending a Coke around the globe to an unsuspecting recipient. making the world feel just a little bit smaller. The ad can be experienced on mobile phone apps in Google's AdMob network across iOS and Android devices. Made possible through AdMob-rich media ads, coupled with custom-designed vending machines, viewers can truly buy the world of Coke with a few taps on their mobile phones. A viewer can decide where to send a Coke by selecting one of many machines located around the world, from New York City to Cape Town to Buenos Aires. They can then add a custom text message to personalize their Coke delivery. Google Translate converts these messages on the fly, breaking down the language barrier across countries. A dynamic video with Google Maps, Street View, and composite motion graphics shows the Coke's journey from the viewer's current location to the vending machine across the globe. Users can then wait for confirmation of their Coke's delivery or enter an email address to be notified later. Once the Coke is delivered, recipients are not only treated to the generosity of a stranger thousands of miles away, but they can also say thanks by sending a message of their own back to the user. That message is then delivered to the user's inbox, where they can read the note and view a video clip of the recipient's surprised reaction upon getting a free Coke. A gallery showcases some of our favorite shareable exchanges between people around the world connecting over a can of Coke.
Thank you. That's the best Coke I've ever had.
Today's technology allows us to make good on a promise Coca-Cola made over 40 years ago, and lets users buy the world of Coke from the palm of their hand.
So I'm sure you'll all agree that's inspirational, and there's a round of applause going on. Well, I think that's fantastic, and I think absolutely right for their applause, because Coca-Cola is a massive international brand, and they're embracing technology, and they're embracing the power of mobile. It's a very inspirational video. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of final thoughts. One of which is, how is your organization adapting to mobile? Can we go to the next slide? We're going to come back. So how important is mobile for you and your organization? Are you talking about mobile when you're having your board meetings? Are you putting a line item underneath the revenue you're making from mobile? How are you interacting with mobile today? What are you doing to ensure that it's not just something of yesterday and it's something of tomorrow? So we're saying to our consumers out there, make sure it's front and center, make sure you remember it. And in the next couple of slides, I was going to just show you one more example, which is called Project Get Mo. So here we have a slide back, but it underlines what I've already mentioned before. We can move on. How does your site appear when you touch on a mobile device? When you're doing a search term and you look for that specific search term, is it the desktop site that's presenting itself, or is it the mobile site that's presenting itself? We found with some research that a certain proportion of users will not come back to the site afterwards if their experience is not positive. They're going to go elsewhere, guys. You're going to lose them through the funnel. So make sure that you're building your sites and your versions specifically geared for mobile. We did some very quick analysis of the top 20 most visited sites in Hungary. We found that actually a good proportion of those top 20 were mobile optimized. So well done, guys. We would assume that the long tail, the guys who sit from 20 to 100,000, are probably not as well optimized. So there's a little bit of work there. And I'm going to leave you with this. We launched something recently in the US called Get Mo. And the idea here was to mobilize an entire town and an entire country. So we mobilized a town called Mobile, Alabama, right? It was a place called, I can't find the same place in Hungary, we'll try and find one. And essentially we went in there and we helped the local pizzeria, the bakery, the shoe store, the dentist build himself a mobile site. And so this is our key message today. Make sure you're prepared, make sure you're ready. There's some interesting things that are happening in this area already. I hope you've enjoyed this session. Have a great day. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.